Hi, this is going to be a tutorial on how I tie thin ribbon around necks because it's a little bit different than the thick ribbon, and I wanted y'all to be able to see it's a little bit more difficult on these smaller ones. So I use washi tape to keep my ribbon down so it doesn't go everywhere. I'm just going to keep that right there. Kind of matches this project. So I'm using pretty thin ribbon, as you can tell. I'll probably use a thicker one for this one, but these are the two sizes I've got. All right. So I try to make sure they're pretty even, with a lot of space. Cut off excess. Then we'll put this back on my ribbon spool. My washi tape. Get that out of here. And make sure it's not twisted. Now I actually want my left one to be a little bit longer because they always come out a little bit short on the left side for me. So I do one simple knot, and then I usually, for this thin one, take a pin right in line with the nostril and pin it just to make sure it does not come undone while I'm working. And then you want to take the left ribbon and do a loop around your finger, and this is the one you want to be a little bit longer. It was the left, and you want it to go all the way around, so I'm going to pull it underneath my finger all the way around. Keep my finger in here for now. You want this kind of loose through here, and I fold mine a little bit and pull it through this loop. Ooh, it's difficult. Oh, it's tricky. So, yeah, there we go. So that left one will become my right. And we got the beginning stages. Now, you can make it as long as you want. I like mine to be kind of small. I pull them real small so that I can pull it tight. Right, and put this one underneath here. Pull this pin out. We don't need that while we're setting. And once I get that middle knot, actually kind of like that length, double check it. Actually like that, perfect. That was actually very quick. Okay, and then I'm gonna pin this right here. Well, I actually want it to be pinned onto the next seam. Perfect. Adjust these a little bit. Right. And then I like to, as well, pin these a little bit longer than I would cut them because these thin ones, the whole show. So I've got those pinned in place. And then I've got some quilting cotton thread. This is poly cotton. Pretty cheap at Joann's. I think I got it less than $1. This is the one that I use. Poly cotton. Oh, can you see that? Just what I picked up in store at a Joann's. I guess it was $4. I think I got it cheaper than that though. I think it was on sale, or is the one thing I used a coupon for. That's what I went in there for. Oh man, I had this needle threaded, but just pulled it off because it was under my scissors. But let's see. So I use a pretty thin but strong thread to keep this in place. And the way that I tie, or I sew this in place, is I insert my needle into a large hole over here and come up through the center of this, just like that. I don't want to pull too much on this tail. I want to keep some tail there. Then I'm gonna poke a hole back in, go to another fairly large hole. I'll be able to pull through without making a difference to the body. Sometimes it pulls that tail up, so make sure it doesn't do that. And I do that 2 or 3 times to secure it and make sure. After that first one, this shouldn't pull as hard, and the more you do, you won't have to worry about it as much. The first one, you want to make sure you don't pull that super short, otherwise you won't be able to tie your end together. All right, make sure my thread doesn't double up. And those ribbons, looks like, are already locked in place. They're not going to come undone. I'm going to do one more, just because this is a fairly thin thread, and I don't want a kid to be able to break it off. Right? All right. And we'll go back into one of the larger holes, and I'll show you where to go next. All right. Now I like to sew these down. Now I get to pick where I want them to go. So I want that to go kind of like that. And this one on the same row. I want them to go in that direction. So I'm going to do one little thread right underneath this ribbon. Just like that. Come up on the other one. Ideally, it's a very similar color, or the exact same color as you've got on there. Now I can just go back to my original thread. There. Right? I'm going to pull my needle off of that. And take these off. And I'm going to tie these two together. Start along this side, one, switch sides, two, switch sides again, three, just really basic knots. Never had these come undone. Cut that off and throw those in my scrap jar. All right, let me grab. Gonna need a lighter here. So for this one, the way I cut my ribbons, you can just go ahead and cut it straight across. I like to cut it, even with this little one, folding it in half, like that, and then cutting at an angle. Out of my scrap jar, and it looks like that. So I'm gonna pull this side, try to make it as even as possible. Trying to flatten a bit with my thumb. So we want right in there. It's better to cut a little bit longer than you think, just in case, because you can always go back. You don't want one side to be too short. And now I can just, if I want to, you can do it this way as well. Make sure it gets all the little threads that are up in there. That's the way it looks so far. This is the last step. I'm going to finish off the ribbon. Pull it off the body a bit. Quick, quick. All right. And then, which takes a bit of the pointiness away on these little ribbons, but I don't want them to come up. Let me try a little bit. There. So we've got our ribbon in place for this little bear. So all you need, scissors, thread, needle, ribbon, and a lighter. And it's fairly easy. On these, I don't tend to do one back here. I don't think it's necessary if you tie it tight around the neck, but you can do secure little threads around the neck. Alright, that is how I tie my thin ribbon around my stuffies' necks. Thank you for watching. I hope this tutorial helped you understand a bit more how I go about putting these onto my plushies. Alright, have a good one. Happy crafting.